Ever feel like there's a secret code to connecting with people, especially in sales? Like, is there like a whole persuasion level you haven't unlocked? Well, today we're diving deep into the world of Zig Ziglar and his book, Secrets of Closing the Sale, to crack that code.
And you know what's so interesting about Ziglar? Even though this book was written decades ago, his stuff is still so powerful today.
Right.
He just had this way of understanding people and what makes them tick. It's kind of timeless, you know?
Okay, so let's break it down then. What's the core secret? What's the foundation of his whole approach?
You know, at its heart, it's actually pretty simple, but really important.
Yeah.
It's all about helping people get what they want. That's the key to you getting what you want.
Okay, I can see how that makes sense on a human level, like a win-win. But was Ziglar himself successful using this approach?
Oh, absolutely. He's like a walking billboard for his own advice.
Yeah.
He went from struggling as a salesman to selling over $250 million worth of products.
Wow.
Yeah. If that's not proof, I don't know what is.
That's incredible. It makes you wonder, though, why does this approach work so well? Why do people buy even when they don't need something?
Well, logic is part of it. But Ziglar knew it wasn't the whole story. Remember that click close he talks about?
Where the click goes.
Yeah, he tells the story about a life insurance sale that basically happened because of the clicking sound a pen made.
Wait, seriously? A click closed the deal? That sounds insane.
It does, right? It just shows you how much is going on beneath the surface when we make decisions. That click probably created a feeling in the customer, like it made the decision feel final in their head, even if they weren't consciously aware of it.
It's like he's revealing this whole hidden world of influence. I'm realizing how much I probably miss as a buyer myself.
Exactly. And the more we're aware of those subtle things, the better we can communicate and connect.
So true. Which actually reminds me of how Ziglar talked about asking the right questions instead of just giving a sales pitch.
Oh, yeah, super important. He had a name for that technique even. The redhead technique.
Yeah, that's right, the redhead technique. What was that all about again?
It's a story about this woman who's trying to buy a house, and the seller is giving her the whole song and dance about why the price is so high.
Right.
But this lady, she's smart. She doesn't get caught up in it. Instead, she starts asking questions. She figures out what the seller really wants, what their motivations are.
And she ends up getting the house at a price she's happy with.
Exactly. She flips the script. It's not about manipulating anyone. It's about really understanding the other person and what they value. Then you can tailor your message so it resonates with them.
It makes me think about those times when I needed help with something and someone just asking me the right questions instead of telling me what to do made all the difference.
Totally. Understanding someone's motivation is huge. But you know, we got to be real here. Even with the best intentions, we're going to run into objections. Those no's that can make or break a sale.
Every salesperson's nightmare.
Right. But Ziglar had a really interesting take on objections. He said no doesn't always actually mean no. A lot of times it means not yet or I need more information.
It's that whole turning a no into a yes thing. How do you do that without being pushy, though?
Well, he talks about some really practical strategies for dealing with common objections, like the think it over stall. We've all been there.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
Especially when you feel that pressure to decide right then and there.
Right. So one thing Ziglar suggests is acknowledging that they need time to think. You know, emphasizing that making a careful decision is a good thing.
Okay.
But then you subtly shift the focus. You remind them that waiting too long can sometimes mean missing out on the benefits.
You create a sense of urgency without being pushy. I like it.
Exactly. And it all comes back to building trust. If they believe that you genuinely want to help them make the best decision, they're more likely to listen.
That reminds me of the saying, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And speaking of caring, Ziglar had a specific closing technique that really focused on building that trust. The pressure permission close.
That's right. It's a perfect example of turning a potentially bad situation into a good one. He told this story about a sales demonstration where the potential customer felt really pressured and actually called the salesman out on it.
Oof. Talk about awkward. How do you recover from that?
He actually leaned into it. He admitted that, yeah, sometimes sales can feel high pressure, and he said he didn't like it either. Then he asked if they could keep talking, but in a way that felt more comfortable for the customer.
Wow, that's a pro move. By being vulnerable, he disarmed the whole situation.
It proves that being genuine can be more effective than any sales tactic. And of course, you can't talk about Ziglar without talking about his energy. That man just radiated positivity.
Oh yeah, he did. He was like the human embodiment of enthusiasm.
Exactly. And he believed that letting your passion shine through was crucial. It's contagious. People are drawn to it.
It's like the magic ingredient that makes everything better. Do you remember any closes of his that really capture that?
Oh, you're going to love this one. It's called the rainy weather close.
Okay. A sales technique inspired by rainy weather. I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
So this close is about a service station owner who actually loved when it rained.
Now, that's not something you hear every day. Why would a service station owner be happy about rain?
Well, this guy, he was sharp. He knew that rainy weather meant more flat tires. Rain washes all that debris into the road.
Oh, that makes sense.
So he turned a potential problem into a perfect selling opportunity.
He was already one step ahead. So what did he do? Hand out umbrellas with every tire change?
Not quite. Whenever it rained, he would always make a point of mentioning his tire protection service.
Right.
He'd remind people that for just a few extra cents a day, they could have peace of mind knowing they were covered if they got a flat.
Classic Ziglar. Finding the opportunity in every situation. It's all about how you frame things, isn't it?
Exactly. By shifting the focus from the negative, the rain, to the positive, the solution, he completely changed the customer interaction.
It's a good reminder that every interaction, no matter how small, can be a chance to connect and help.
And those small interactions, when they're built on trust and genuine service, those are what lead to the permanent customer. See, Ziglar wasn't just about closing deals. He was about building relationships that lasted, that benefited everyone.
Permanent customer. Now that's what every business wants. It's like that saying, a happy customer is a walking advertisement.
Right. You got it. Ziglar was all about going above and beyond, exceeding expectations to create those raving fans. It's a whole different mindset. It's not just about making the sale, it's about cultivating the relationship.
It reminds me of a story Ziglar told about this home builder, Bill Tennyson, who was building a house for him. And Bill went the extra mile, taking all of these photos during the construction and sending them to Ziglar so he could see the progress.
Oh yeah, that's a perfect example of the permanent customer, close in action. Bill knew that going above and beyond wouldn't just make Ziglar happy, it would probably lead to more business down the line.
And it did. Ziglar was so impressed that he started recommending Bill to everyone he knew. It just shows you how powerful that kind of service can be.
And it all comes back to Ziglar's core belief. The best salespeople are the ones who genuinely care about their customers.
Speaking of caring, Ziglar also talked a lot about the power of imagination. He even had a technique called the imagination close.
He did. He believed that visualizing success, both for yourself and your client, was so important.
So how did that work in practice? What did the imagination close look like?
One of the most powerful examples is the story of Paul Jeffers. He was a deaf salesman who sold millions of dollars in life insurance.
Wow, a deaf salesman achieving that level of success? That's amazing. How did he do it?
Through incredible observation and imagination. He couldn't hear his clients' words, of course, but he could read their body language, their expressions, everything they weren't saying. And he would use that to paint these vivid pictures with his words, help them imagine the benefits of having life insurance.
He turned what some might see as a disadvantage into this incredible strength.
Exactly. Paul's story really embodies the power of empathy and imagination. It's about connecting with people on a deeper level.
It's a message we can all learn from. No matter what challenges we face, we can achieve amazing things with the right attitude and a genuine desire to connect.
That's Ziglar in a nutshell. He was all about empowering people. He saw sales as a vehicle for growth and transformation.
And speaking of transformation, let's talk about the deserve it close.
Oh, I like this one. Sometimes we all need a little push to treat ourselves right.
Absolutely. So how did Ziglar use this one?
He often emphasized the emotional reward of a purchase. He tells this great story about selling a beautiful lake lot, and he used the property itself to create this really compelling close.
Okay, I'm picturing this serene lake. Gorgeous sunsets. How did he connect that to the sale?
He painted this picture of them enjoying the peace and quiet of the lake, escaping the daily grind, spending time with their family and friends. Then he reminded them of everything they'd accomplished in their lives, all their hard work. And he said basically, you deserve this. You deserve to reward yourself with this little slice of paradise.
He wasn't just selling them a property. He was selling them a whole vision. I can see how that would be so effective.
Exactly. It's about tapping into their desires, helping them see the emotional value in the purchase. It's not always about the practical stuff. Sometimes we need to be reminded that it's okay to enjoy ourselves, to invest in our happiness.
And Ziglar, with his endless optimism, was really good at that.
He was. So we've covered a lot today. From the importance of helping others to all those different closing techniques, what's the main thing you hope people take away from this deep dive?
That's a good question. For me, it all comes back to that human connection that Ziglar talked about so much. His success wasn't about tricks or gimmicks. It was about genuinely caring about people, understanding them, and wanting to help.
He was all about that win-win, wasn't he? Building relationships based on trust and mutual benefit.
Exactly. And that's something that goes way beyond sales. Which I guess brings us to our final thought for everyone listening.
It wouldn't be a deep dive without it. So Ziglar used to ask this question: how can you use that idea of helping others in your own life, even if it has nothing to do with sales?
That's such a powerful question. It really makes you think, doesn't it?
It does. It reminds us that every interaction we have with a coworker, with our families, even with strangers, is a chance to make a positive impact.
It's about approaching life with an open heart, looking for ways to add value.
Exactly. And when we do that, we create this ripple effect of positivity that goes out into the world.
What a great note to end on. So as you go about your day, try to remember that. Look for those opportunities to help others to connect authentically. You might be surprised at what happens.
Until next time, keep those conversations going, keep learning, and keep Ziglar's spirit alive in everything you do.